here. Just had our Q&A about advanced objection handling. So can you tell me a bit more? We've been in contact since, I remember back in September last year. So
yeah,
what were you doing before NAS Miner?
well, I'm still currently doing it technically, but so I still was before as assistant manager at a shoe store. So there's a place in Canada called Shoe Company, pretty straightforward name. And that's what I was doing. And I think this month would have been my 2-year anniversary working there.
Okay.
Yeah. Before that, I worked for the Canadian government and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that's what I was doing pretty much as I was entering NAS Miner in early October or whatever it was. Yeah.
Got it. And it took some time. I remember, we talked a bit in October, then communication faded a bit out, but we got it back on track on February, March.
Yeah.
So what was happening in your mind, before making the decision to upgrade, like in the meantime, what was happening exactly? If you can share.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, realistically, joining Miner was like, hey, like to see if this was really something that I wanted to do, right? And I figured like it was like just being someone who was in customer service and all that kind of stuff pretty much most of my adult life, like I was picking it up, I was doing okay, but then what was it, sometime in November, I guess I kind of hit like a valley, and I don't remember exactly why I was in that valley of despair, but like I was just sort of like, yeah, I don't remember exactly why, but I was in there for like a couple months. Like you even messaged me, I think it was end of December, like around Christmas time. I didn't even see it. Like I shut off all the notifications for school. Like I didn't want to get any emails anymore. Like, and then it just so happened I went in there. It was beginning mid-January, something like that. I don't even know why. And then I saw that you messaged me, like, oh damn it. Like, Val messaged me and I told him like I would never ghost him. And that's just not me, right? So of course I answered literally like 2 seconds later and apologizing and stuff like that. And then the conversation sort of started again. And so you sort of helped me out of that, out of that valley. And it was, I joined because like I wanted to better my situation, my family situation, something that like a new skill I could learn to piggyback off of skills I've already learned to then potentially make decent, well, better income, not just decent income, but much better income. And yeah, so, and then the investment was always the issue. It was never a fear. It was never time. It was never, thinking I couldn't do it and blah, 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 blah. It was always just that initial investment, right? Because I mean, I work in retail. I'm not a millionaire, But yeah, so then eventually, we kept talking. We had a couple Zoom calls together and, had some laughs and, got to know each other a bit more. And and then obviously got down to business and talked about NAS and potentially upgrading and this and that. And I told you I was waiting for a certain thing, and as soon as that came in, first investment was there, and I was off to the races in 4.0, right? So, and like what was it, 33 days I think my count was for getting to my last role play. So like I got through it pretty quickly.
True. And you can be really proud of yourself, by the way. I mean, I told it before, but it was pretty coincidental. I messaged you with a very specific message. I mean, I really cared about you. It was not even a copy paste message. I mean,
no, it wasn't.
Remembered from our onboarding call. But then yeah, I saw you were inactive. And then, as you said, we had our calls. It was cool to have you back on track. And then I think it was in January or February, you made that step. So how does your experience in NAS 4.0 compare to NAS Miner overall? What are really the things that are sticking out? What do you say, sticking out for you?
Okay, well, I mean, number one, like Miner is very much like an introductory course. Now, don't get me wrong, it's absolutely perfect for what it's good for. And without that, I probably never would have jumped into 4.0 straight off the bat. And I think that there's probably a lot of people that feel that same way. Like they want that test first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which minor is. So then like literally from day one, like I think I went through what I got access to the Discord and stuff on the Friday. And I think that whole weekend, I think I literally did every single module in that first grouping, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a lot of repetition, obviously, right? But even the repetition wasn't really repetition because the videos weren't the same and they were much more in depth. There was way more in terms of like breaking down the framework, and it's now the minor part helped me understand the 4.0 part much quicker. So that's why I think I got through those modules so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I don't regret going into minor first by any means. And like I said, it definitely helped me when I upgraded. And
Mm-hmm.
or I feel like I forgot part of your question.
No, it's exactly that. Like, yeah, how did your experience in 4.0 compare to NAS Minor? What
Yeah.
stuck out for you the most? It's really the depth of
Yeah.
the framework that we're teaching.
Yeah, for me, it's the detail. Like you have an understanding, but you're in this whole other level with the detail that just brings it all together and it just makes so much more sense, and it makes role plays so much easier to navigate, whether they're with one of your students or the full version of ChatGPT, which is I use most of the time.
Mhm.
But, yeah, it helps so much to kind of pick
Yeah.
apart. Okay, like like, oh, there's a pain here, there's a pain here. Okay, which one am I going to probe into first? This is what the framework says. Blah 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 blah. Like it
Mhm.
was much better in that sense.
Solid. And now, and based on that, you got your opportunity. You got placed with an opportunity today as well. I
Yeah,
mean, I know we talked about that a bit earlier, but
yeah.
can you tell me again a bit more? Also, I'd like to know more details. What's the offer? How did you get there? And how are you feeling today? Tell me more about the news.
All right. Well, like I mentioned in the Q&A we just did, like I got access to the after I had my skills assessment call with Amelie there. If you get graded a 3 or 4, you get a chance to be on the opportunity board, and that's where you can actually apply literally right off the bat for jobs that come in, right? So I mean that's such a huge advantage, right? Like, yeah, you're not handed them, you still have to earn those opportunities, right? You have to go through the interview process, you have to fill out an application and stuff like that, but it's huge. It's not like navigating through social media on your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hoping for the best that you might land something that's even remotely half decent. So as soon as I got access, I was like, yeah, Kate, I'll take this one, I'll take this one, I'll take this. Like I didn't even care. Like
Mm-hmm.
I did interviews prior to even getting into that board, and they were like, I chalked them up for experience, but none of them were for me. They were terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Some were people trying to sell their programs. They didn't care if you had any type of training whatsoever. They just wanted to make their money. Some were just like, oh, you can, outbound from your own Instagrams or Facebook until you prove yourself. It was like, all right, so now you're completely handcuffed.
Yeah.
You're not going to be successful. I'm sorry, but you're not, because you have zero authority in your own inbox. Like, come on, who am I? I'm like a 36-year-old dad from Canada. What authority do I have? Like, got nothing, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Got it.
it's just, yeah. So
Mhm.
I was glad that everything sort of fell into place, because like that, when did I have that call? It was just past Monday, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was earlier this week. So like
yeah.
everything just sort of came
Mhm.
into motion really fast, and I got really lucky. I don't know who's watching over me or what, but someone threw me a bone, and I'm so glad that I caught it. And when they when they the pipeline manager Ian, when he set up that WhatsApp sort of chat, and her the BO, her sales manager contacted me and stuff like that, like we were trying to set something up for the next day, and then it turned out like I said, I was, getting ready to cook dinner after
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
getting
Told me.
my 9 to 5, right? And then, hey, you want to do it right now? It's like, okay, like, the wife was like, what, really? Like an interview right now? It's like 9:30. Like, yeah, but like, come on, like it's spur of the moment. Maybe it's a test. Like, I don't know. Like, I
Mhm.
so I can have a one-on-one conversation with someone and sell myself. I don't need to prepare for that necessarily. It's just answer the questions. We had interviews, right? We had that call, we had practice, we had everything. So what the
Mhm.
hell? I jumped on it and it was amazing. Like everything he was laying down, I was picking up. It couldn't have been a better feeling overall in terms of an interview. And yeah, like I said, I'm so glad that I didn't just make that up in my head and that it was,
Mhm.
better than it was, but it was, yeah, it was a really, really, really cool experience. And I'm so looking forward to, you know, doing the triage setting, which again, is a little different. It's a face-to-face thing, but I think I can handle it.
Course. And also in terms of when I remember you told me back then, it was your income goal was, yeah, just make, 1K on the side, maybe two. I'm already happy. And now it seems like so the offer was the ticket is between 10 and 40K, something like that. And you get like what? 8%, 8 to 10%,
8 to 10, yeah.
right? So yeah, 8 8% on 10K. That's well, what that's 800.
$800, yeah. And that's
Yeah.
American. So I mean, look, you convert that into Canadian, that's like over $1,000 Canadian, right? So I mean,
Mhm.
I pretty much have to work what I get paid what